Then we move to remuneration. Remuneration of auditors. Remuneration of auditors. Now, the remuneration of auditors in Kenya is a critical aspect of the regulatory framework, as it can potentially influence the independence and objectivity of the audit process. So the Companies Act provides the primary legal framework for auditors' remuneration, while professional guidance is also offered by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. So this aspect of remuneration is also highly regulated. But we can cite a few guidelines or principles in relation to remuneration. One key principle is transparency, agreement, and disclosure. Agreement and disclosure. Agreement and disclosure. What does that mean? Now, the remuneration of the auditors must be determined through an agreement between the company and the auditor, and such agreement should be disclosed in the company's annual financial statements. Agreement and disclosure. The remuneration must also be fair and reasonable. Fair and reasonable basis. The basis for the remuneration must be fair and reasonable. The remuneration should be based on a fair and reasonable assessment, considering factors such as the scope of the audit, the complexity of the audit, the auditor's experience, the auditor's expertise, the time and resources required for the audit, the level of risk involved, and so on. So those are some of the factors that determine the fairness and reasonableness of remuneration of an auditor. If the audit may take a lot of time, then that may require higher audit fees. If a high level of expertise is required, again, that is also a factor that can determine the remuneration of auditors. Fair and reasonable basis. Another principle is that there ought to be no contingency fees. What does that mean? Now, the auditor's remuneration should not be contingent upon the outcome of the audit or any other factors that could create a conflict of interest. The company should not pay the auditor if on the basis of another circumstance. There has to be no the remuneration should not be contingent upon the outcome of the audit, like having a positive or positive opinion. The members should not pay the auditor contingent upon the outcome of, say, a positive outcome. Transparency is another key aspect. Transparency. The company should provide a clear and transparent information about the auditor's remuneration in its financial statements, enabling auditors, enabling the shareholders and other stakeholders to assess the reasonableness of the fees. So the fees should be disclosed. The members should have information regarding the reasonableness, the fairness of the audit fees. Now, there are also other professional aspects, what we call professional guidance. Given that remuneration may impact the independence and objectivity of an audit, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, which is the professional body for accountants in Kenya, may and does issue guidance on the best practices for determining auditors' remuneration. And such guidance may cover topics such as the fee structure, That means different fee structures that can be used, such as fixed fees, hourly rates, or combination of both. There may also be professional guidance in relation to factors to consider. When determining the reasonableness of audit fees, such as the size and complexity of the company, the industry sector, the level of risks, and so on. There are also ethical considerations. The importance of avoiding conflicts of interest and ensuring that the auditor's remuneration does not compromise their independence or objectivity. Those are ethical considerations. So generally, candidates, the regulatory framework aims to ensure that the remuneration of auditors is fair, is reasonable, is transparent, promotes independence, promotes quality of audit process. And these principles must be adhered to, because by adhering to these principles, companies can maintain the trust and confidence of the stakeholders in the reliability of the financial reporting.